We're ready when you are.
Okay. I'll call to order this meeting of the Seward City Council. It's Monday, January 22nd. It's 7 p.m. And Chief, would you please lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Roll call for tonight's meeting. Calhoun?
Here.
Barnwell?
Here.
Wells?
Here.
Kreitz?
Here.
Finch is excused. Osenga?
Here.
And Mayor McClure.
Here.
Okay, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. We're now at citizen comments on any subject except items scheduled for public hearing. There are no public hearing items tonight, but you can speak on any topic you would like, and you'll get 3 minutes. The total time allotted is 36 minutes, so if there happens to be a whole bunch of people on the same topic of the same minds, you can sort of raise hands and say you're all with that person or something to expedite. People who've signed in get the first shot, and then within that time frame, I can call on hands after that. So, Mr. Clerk, who's signed up?
So there are 5 people signed in. First on the list is Nathan Smith.
Oh, and you need, I think most of you know, but you need to give your name and if you live inside or outside the city limits, please.
Yeah, Nathan Smith, outside city limits. I'm here to address that I don't think the public here in Seward has had ample notice that we were going to start allowing open-air marijuana bars in Seward. And when I found out earlier today, I started calling some of my friends and trying to figure out some stuff. They had no clue it was going down tonight either. So I'm not sure if we didn't put out enough public presence in it and whatnot, but a lot of thoughts come to my mind. It's on a major corner of where kids drive by. It's less than 80 feet from where the people get on and off our train car right there. Right over the back of it. We have concerns on is our police force able to handle what happens there. You get 30 people go there and 30 different cars and 30 cars leave. I was just asking them what the level of intoxication a person could have and still legally drive. There's gray areas everywhere in this. So I'm asking that the council table this for a couple weeks, allow the public to come in and speak on this behalf. You know, we haven't got everybody's side of it. I have some fears in it. I'm not totally against it. I'm not against mining either, but I'm against mining in Bristol Bay. That's the kind of same thing here. Is that the perfect spot for that to happen? Is that what we want people on our train to know when they first come off? I've been in a lot of confined space classrooms and stuff where they talk about smells and parts per million and everything, and if you can smell it, you're getting something. Is that what we want for kids and things that could be easily associated with it? I know last year there were some parties held there, and I watched families have to take the opposite side of the sidewalks and cross over just to the people that were hanging around there. I know that he was trying to keep alcohol off of there, so they were across the street. There are going to be problems that faces with this, and I think we need to have answers before we just allow something to happen. And first and foremost, the safety of the people. How are we going to deal with the DUI of it? How is our own chief, is he well equipped for it? And whatnot. So I think as a community, and for you guys representing the community, we hold off a couple weeks, we get some more input, maybe have some talks on this, maybe the chief could talk about it and voice his concern and or non-concern. But either way, I don't think we should just rush off and let this happen without a little further conversation. And once again, I'm not totally against it. I'm just saying that might not be the right place for it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clerk, who's next?
Robert Schaefer.
Mayor, City Council. Yeah, my name's Bob Schaefer. I live here in town. I'm here to say a few words in support of the senior center. I go there on a regular basis. I found it's a very warm, inviting atmosphere. They provide a tasty, healthy lunch for seniors. What I like about it, I have a chance to get out of my house. I live alone and interact with people my own age. They have a writing group twice a month that I really enjoy. I'd like to say thanks to the American Legion for providing lunch for veterans. I really enjoy that. You guys take care of the place. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, who's next?
Mary Ann Broughton.
Hello, I'm Marlene Broughton, and I live in city limits. And I too want to put in my appreciation to the city and to the American Legion for the senior center. It's an awesome place to be. We get to socialize, we get good meals. There's all kind of activities that go on for health, people my age. And a really big thanks to Dana. She's done an excellent job, and she helped family and friends with anything that needs help, applying for food stamps or trying to get, sign up for Medicaid. And it's just an awesome service that the city provides. And I want to thank the city and the American Legion again. It's a good program.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
Miranda Nelson.
Miranda Nelson, and I am in full support of the senior center.
Miranda, do you live inside?
They offer a lot of opportunities for us elders, and thank you.
Miranda, just for the record, you live in the city
Yes,
limits?
I do.
Okay,
I
we
live
just
in
need
the
that on
city.
the record. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. Okay, Mr. Clerk.
Rhonda Hubbard.
Hello, Rhonda Hubbard, Inside City Limits. It just came to my attention recently, too, that about the application for on-site consumption at the Puffin? Yeah, I think that's the name of it. And I am just I would like to see this tabled just so we can get a little bit more information. I do see and understand that there is a process of approval, the state, local thing, and I guess what's happening here is that as soon as the person has the application with the state, then the local sort of default to that approval. What I'm wondering is within the state regs, and I would have to look into them because I haven't had time to do all my homework on this, but is there proper ventilation requirements for that facility that's going to be offering that? The smell of this stuff actually makes me sick, and there's a lot of traffic around there, and we walk there. It's fairly close to my neighborhood. It's just not attractive, and I would hope that that would be part of the requirements. And I do see also that it is going to be put in front of the Marijuana Control Board. I'm not sure if that is also an opportunity for us as locals to address our concerns, but I just think that this community, or I'd appreciate if the council could table this until after that and get a little bit more input on where the rest of the community is looking at this, and that at least, at minimum, that there be some ventilation requirements put in place for that type of activity. Okay? Thank you. That's all I
Thank
have.
you. Mr. Clerk?
No one else has signed in.
Okay, so now, for quite a while, we can have individuals come up and testify on any subject. you just raise your hand, I'll call on you. First come, first serve. Okay, come on up. And it's the same rules. We need to know your name and if you're inside or outside.
Okay, that's
And you get 3 minutes.
okay. That's warm. Sorry. Terry Swanson, out of city limits. I'm here to speak in support of Councilmember Bob Barnwell's resolution to significantly increase the base student allocation, the BSA. In recent legislation, Senate Bill 140 passed with several provisions. One was an increase of $300 to the BSA. It included a lot of other provisions that we won't go into. $300, even as a permanent increase, is not enough to meet the deficits that these districts are meeting, they're facing in the next fiscal year. Our Commissioner, Dina Bishop, has stated that she wants to strategically fund education, targeting teachers with bonuses or students who pursue home education as needing additional funds. But this strategic funding just compounds inequities in our state. It does nothing to meet the deficits in our labor market and will accelerate the rate that people are leaving our state who don't see the opportunities to live here. We ask, and we are here in support of this resolution, which the recommended increase to the BSA is $1,400 because it has not been increased since 2017. I know that seems like a lot, but we need to meet our constitutional obligations to fund education, and we are not going to stop until that happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else would like to speak? I know it's kind of scary, but we're friendly folk up here. Okay, come on up.
Hello, my name is Megan Miller, and I live outside of city limits. I just wanted to second everything that Tara Swanson just reported. She has all that information correct, and I would like to also support an increase to the BSA for Seward students especially. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm assuming the red shirts have something to do with that too, so.
Red for Ed.
Yeah, folks on the, watching the YouTube won't see that, but there are some red shirts there that say, what does it say? Red for, we're red for Ed. Yeah, so. Does anyone else wish to speak? Okay, seeing, no? Okay, last chance. Sometimes people have to think about it a little bit. That's okay too.
My name is Shannon Ryan. I live outside the city limits. I just wanted to support what Tara and the other citizen just said, and mention that, you know, any push that your body can give to the state legislators to make a permanent increase to the BSA would be really helpful. Us living in Seward, we know that our students don't have charter school options, and many families don't have the option of homeschooling their children if a parent can't stay home. So we know that the inequities that it's supporting, even more than maybe somebody in a city where they have multiple options. So I think supporting this in any way that we can to make a meaningful and permanent increase to the BSA would be wonderful.
Thank you. Anyone else? Getting down to last chance here. Okay. Someone's being coerced, I think.
Marion's being
coerced. Well, I meant you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mary Beth Coster. I live inside the Seward city limits, and this is, say your name.
Delaney Lenardi.
And do you live inside Seward city limits?
Yes.
And we, this is why we're here, speaking for her and her sister and for all the other children who go to Seward City schools. Please support increasing the BSA, right? All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, last chance. Okay, I'll close the citizen comment portion, And that brings us to the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda. I need a motion and a second to approve.
I'll move for the approval of tonight's agenda and consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any changes that anyone wants to make?
No.
Councilmember Wells?
We did, I apologize, I thought we moved that off of the consent agenda.
It is.
So, no.
Okay. I know what he's talking about.
Yes.
Any changes? Okay, Mr. Clerk, we're ready to vote.
Okay, voting on the approval of tonight's agenda and consent agenda. Osenga?
Yes.
Calhoun?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
Barnwell?
Yes.
Kreitz?
Yes.
And Mayor McClure.
Yes.
Okay, your agenda and consent agenda have been approved. And on tonight's consent agenda were the approval of the January 8th, 2024 City Council meeting minutes, the introduction of ordinance 2024-001, approving the land use amendment to rezone Fort Raymond subdivision, replat number 7, lot 10A-1, located at 905 Sea Lion Avenue from institutional zoning district to an auto commercial zoning district. Introduction of ordinance 2024-002, approving the land use amendment to rezone Mount Alice Estates planned unit development phase 1, lots 1 through 11 and tracts B through D located at 1303 Nash Road from a resource management zoning district to a multifamily residential zoning district. Introduction of ordinance 2024-003, amending Seward City Code 15.10.226C7 requirements for mobile vendors, and introduction of ordinance 2024-004, amending Seward City Code 7.20 cemeteries and burials. Resolutions. Resolutions 2024-004, authorizing the city manager to apply for a loan with the Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation Drinking Water Fund for $1,905,000 with a forgiveness of $1.5 million, leaving a balance of $405,000 to be funded by the City of Seward for the Lowell Canyon water tank replacement and appropriating funds. Resolution 2024-005, amending Resolution 2023-140 to correct Section 2 funding, and Resolution 2024-006, requesting the State of Alaska legislators make a meaningful increase to the base student allocation, BSA, for public schools. Resolution 2024-007, approving the Planning and Zoning Commission priorities for January 2024 to January 2025. And that is all.
Okay. And for the public that doesn't come to meetings a lot, that means that everything he just read, we've passed without voting. So those things have passed. Okay. I saw some concerned looks, and so sometimes people need to know what's going on here. Okay, so next, yeah, as they're all taking off now. I have an award, I guess it's an award, to give to someone who's not here. Liz DeMoss was on council, and when people have been on council and then they are not anymore, they get something depending on how long they've been here. Liz couldn't come tonight, but I was going to embarrass her by telling some stories, but I'm not going to because she's not here. But Liz DeMoss was on council, and there's a nice little plaque you get for that. It says it's presented by the mayor and city council to Liz DeMoss for excellent leadership and dedicated service on the Seward City Council, serving the people of Seward from October 2020 to October 2023. And we did enjoy having her on here, and I'm going to hand this to the clerk, and then he will make sure that she gets it. So we want to thank Liz. And if she should ever come back in here sometime, we're going to make her stand up and, all that. Can you just pass that? Okay, thank you. Next, we have the city manager report, which if you have a packet, it would begin on page 5.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also would like to clarify on some of the resolutions that were passed in the consent agenda. The first 2024-004 is a really cool opportunity for a loan with the Department of Environmental Conservation Drinking Water Fund, and that will have a forgiveness of $1.5 million so that we can move forward with replacing the tank up there, the second smaller tank, replacing that with $500,000. So it's just the first step, we're just applying for it, but a really cool grant opportunity that we're exploring. I'd also like to highlight some notes from the city manager's report. I'll be meeting with Matanuska Electric tomorrow at 9 a.m. to discuss a potential contract, management contract with them. Some fun stuff is happening over at the library. We've seen an average of 378 visitors a day over the course of the past month, which comes out to about 2,200 a week, which is really awesome. Definitely can see the benefits of having the library open for longer. But with that, it's been taking the library longer to empty out since there's been so many people in there. So we're now doing last call, last entry, 15 minutes prior. So anybody who wants to visit the library, just show up 20 minutes beforehand and then wrap things up. We've just been having a lot of overtime and issues with people staying a lot longer than that closing time. And then to follow up on some comments from last council meeting, I looked into our water rate study and the progress along with that, and we have been moving along with that with a Carmen Jackson. It's a big lift to get the metering, but we're aiming to have it presented in the latter half of this year and good to go for 2025. So we're moving along with that, getting all of those squared away. And was there anything else I wanted to highlight? No. Jason, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No.
Great. Thanks so much.
Okay, any questions for the city manager? Comments? I love how the library and the museum is going.
Yeah. Oh, the museum's also open on Saturdays now.
And thank you. I was just going to say, and it's being open on Saturdays, and you should go check that out. And I'm noticing that the Christmas lights are coming down, which is always, it's fun to have them up, and it's fun to have them down. And I guess this is a good time. I just saw Doug Schlesser out there, but I have gotten scads of compliments for what Public Works is doing on keeping our roads cleared and sanded and all of that. So I've been asked by multiple people to pass on kudos on that, so I'm passing that on right now. Any other questions or anything? Yes, Councilmember.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks for the Central Treasury report. The one thing I would ask, if it's possible, we're going to get this at our second meeting of the month, is that?
Yes.
Okay. Would we be able to get it for the prior month? So we could have had December this month instead of November, so we could be a little more current on our, on where we're actually at. Is that?
I believe that's possible, but I would have to double check. I think there was a reason for that, but I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just one other comment, Madam Mayor, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure.
Since you brought up Carmen Jackson and the contract stuff that we have going there, I apologize if I'm not remembering correctly, but it seemed like we're only budgeted for contract services and finance for $80,000 for 2024. Does that indicate that that relationship's coming to a close?
We are weaning off that relationship. We're getting to a really good staffing point in the finance department, so we're weaning off of that relationship. But there are some longer term projects that they have been involved in, like the water rate study, that we'd like to continue moving forward with, just instead of cutting the cord. But yeah, we have, I think we only have one open position in finance department right now, so staffing's been really great, and we've been able to get a lot of positions filled in the finance department.
Okay, other questions, comments for city manager? Okay, moving past that, we have a city clerk report on page 27. Mr. Clerk, what you want to say about that?
Oh, it's just a fun one. Our friends in Obahiro emailed us those photos of a Seward collage that the high school exchange students made. So they're still having fond memories of their visit here last summer. And we're hopeful that we'll get some Seward students to sign up to go to Obahiro this summer. So
I especially, if you see the packet, it's online, you can find it, but they've taken the Seward flag, the city flag, and it makes the star up there look, maybe it just looks a little fancier than the star it used to be, which I think is just cool. Anyway, they had fun with that. Is that all you had to share?
That's all I
But
have, thanks.
it's very nice. Okay, city manager, we don't have an attorney report this meeting, so that brings us to other reports and announcements. And the first report is the Seward Chamber of Commerce report by Samantha Allen, and it is on page 28, so she actually submitted a written report also. And there you go.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks for having me tonight. Unfortunately, there's some technical difficulties, and I did have a presentation, but it's not up. Does everybody have a copy of it in front of them? I have both a report and a copy. Sweet.
Is it in our packet? I mean, the whole thing?
So I understand the report in the packet has the same information, it's just not in the presentation
I think
format,
so.
but we do
Yeah,
have
'cause it's
printed
got-
There's just some
copies
nice visuals in
available.
there that, some
That's fine.
graphs and
Yeah,
We can
charts.
share it.
Thank you, Kat.
If you want to use this, you can, and it will be on the YouTube. So I can still use it through the YouTube?
Okay, I'll try my best.
It should change the slides.
Okay, very
on my
cool.
computer.
I'll
That's
try for that one,
high-tech.
but I don't know. I don't know if I'll keep up with that. Okay, anyway, thanks for having me so much tonight. My name is Samantha. I was newly appointed your Executive Director of the Seward Chamber of Commerce in September after serving 2 years as Membership Coordinator under the direction of Kat Sorensen. I'm excited to hopefully make my predecessors proud tonight and deliver my first report. So just want to do a quick recap of our 2023 year. I'll outline some statewide and Seward-specific visitation data, discuss the Chamber's impact on the community this year. I'll also review some data from the Alaska Small Business Development Center, and just a quick look ahead at our 2024 year. So looking at the Alaska Travel Industry Association's Tourism Impact Report for 2023, we were able to see that 2.7 million visitors came to our beautiful state this year, and they're averaging about 8.5 nights in Alaska. Visitors directly spent $3.9 billion in-state with a total economic impact of $5.6 billion. So a lot of people coming, spending a lot of time, and spending a lot of money. Good numbers to see. We're also seeing that South Central is the second most visited region, right behind the Inside Passage. So we can be proud of that number. I also threw in that Alaska's travel industry supported over 56,000 jobs in Alaska, so that's just some fun information for you to have. So that's a little bit of statewide data. What does that mean for Seward? Using Datify, our visitor analytics tool, we're able to gather some information about visitors coming into our town. So with this tool, we found that total trips from the date range of May 1st through September 31st, we're seeing over 550,000 total trips in Seward this year, with over 1,200,000 visitor days spent in Seward. Unique visitors, over 370,000, so those are individuals coming to Seward for the very first time. We're actually able to distinguish from repeat visitors to people who are coming for the first time. It's kind of creepy data, but it's pretty interesting. And then finally, we're seeing an average length of stay of 2.3 days in our town. And out of these 4 data points, we're most interested in seeing that average length of stay increase. June, July, and August do continue to be the highest volume months. We all know that. We'd also really like to see our shoulder seasons bump up. We're seeing more visitors come in May than September. So we're hoping to see those shoulder seasons grow in visitation as well. And we're also able to pull out our top states for visitation. We're seeing Californians come to Seward the most, Texas, Washington, Florida following not too far behind. So that's really helpful data for businesses looking to market in specific areas. We're also leading in out-of-state visitors as opposed to in-state visitors. Monthly volume by visitor days, I went over already. Okay, so what does that mean for our member businesses? It means that we were able to deliver over 12,000 referrals to our member businesses in 2023, and we welcomed over 9,000 guests in our Seward Visitor Center doors and our Harbor Derby booth. I'd like to note that those numbers are sort of an undershoot because it's hard to track every single head that comes into the visitor center while you're also referring all our wonderful businesses to them and telling them about the opportunities they have in Seward. So those numbers are a little low, I would guess. And then finally, cruise ships in Seward, May through October, we saw a total of 188,000 passengers this year. And that's a little bit of information from Amy Haddo at the cruise ship. We do have our 2024 cruise ship schedule up on Seward.com. It's up, it's live. You can see right now Norwegian Jewel is slated to come into Seward April 22nd, but we'll see if that holds given their plans to move to Whittier if and when the dock is completed. Okay. So I'd like to segue out of visitation data for 2023 and talk a little bit about Seward Chamber of Commerce engagement and impact in our community. In 2023, the Chamber led over 15 community events, and we also lent a lot of support organizationally and promotionally for many more. You can see the list there in your packet, but a few that I'd like to highlight. In 2023 at the Seward Community Awards, we awarded the Alutiiq Pride Marine Institute Site Improvement Award for their beautiful murals that they put up. We also were able to thank Miller's Landing with the Service to the Community Award for all their work during the landslide. Business Person of the Year, Christy Larson, with First American Title Company. And then finally, the Board of Directors chose to honor Linda Lasota for her work with the Nordic Ski Club. A couple more that went over throughout the summer. We all know Mount Marathon race and 4th of July, great time. Silver Salmon Derby this year, and we introduced a new event, the Silver Salmon Ball. We're hoping that increases a little bit more of like local participation into the Derby. We got all dressed up and had a fun time that evening. I'd also like to talk about Small Business Startup Week. This was a statewide campaign designed to offer events for and by small business owners. Seward hosted 6 events during this week. And we chose those events based off of data from the Alaska Small Business Center. What topics are people asking about? What areas do our local business owners need support in? And we were able to craft events based off of that information. So that was a really wonderful time. Shop Small Weekend, 30 local business participated. We saw over 650 online interactions with our Goose Chase platform. So we're seeing a lot of people out shopping that weekend. That was awesome. And finally, we host regular winter weekends, chamber luncheons, and chamber after fives. Tomorrow night we have a chamber after 5 at the new Seward Yoga Studio for health and wellness in the workplace. So maybe we'll see you there at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Okay, moving along. Okay, so I'm sorry, also on there you can see the events that we supported in 2023, and you can also see a list of the trade shows that we participated in. Outlined in our strategic plan in 2022, we talked about keeping the Seward Chamber of Commerce at the forefront of being a hometown resource as well as a destination marketing organization. So some of the outside of that was the Seward.com/events community calendar. This is a wonderful resource, especially in lieu of the newspaper leaving, where people can stay up to date on what's happening in Seward. It's an additional resource outside of Facebook. It's much more organized. Not only is it a place where you can stay up to date on what's happening, but your organization can utilize it to post your own events or programs. And we're able to filter that. We see it before events just go live. So it's a nice internal control there. And then finally, the community job board is also a great hometown resource for our member businesses to utilize to post seasonal and year-round jobs. Okay. Moving on from that, just a little information on our Small Business Development Center. I'd like to say thank you for the city for entering into that agreement with us to host that office in the chamber building. Kellyanne is a wonderful resource for anyone at any stage of business. This is an open, free service for anybody dreaming, scheming, owning, operating, to support our local business, stimulate our economy, and get people in our visitor center doors. So some of her statistics from this year, she had 543 client hours, and somehow she managed 100% positive client surveys, and that never happens. So that's really indicative of the good work she's doing there, and also showing that the people that are utilizing that resource are really getting something good out of it. So thank you for being partners in that endeavor. We're very happy to have her. Some of the topics that she had the most conversation hours were buying and selling business, startup assistance, and then the industries that she served are also outlined in that report for you. Okay, and then I'll just go over a quick look ahead. We have finished our 2024 visitor guide publication. We're waiting for it to go to print and show up at our doors. We're very excited about that. Tomorrow night, like I mentioned, we have a Chamber After 5 event, Wellness in the Workplace, at the new Seward Yoga Studio. Seward Restaurant Week is this week, the 24th through the 28th. There's different, all the restaurants in town are offering menus at different price points, 3-course menus from $25 up to $55. So go out and have a nice meal at some of our wonderful local year-round restaurants. We're also hosting the State of the Chamber Annual Report on January 29th in the Chamber Building at 11 a.m. So you can hear me deliver this report again if you'd like, and also listen to Karen, Hunter, and Allie give a report on their work for the Chamber. Yeah. And then I'll also say Mount Marathon this year and the 4th of July Festival will be from July 2nd to the 4th, so that's a midweek festival. It doesn't fall on a weekend, so there's going to be some fine-tuning around that. And the Silver Salmon Derby dates are August 10th through the 18th. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to repeat, would you repeat, well, I could say it, but the event calendar you have, it's Seward, go ahead and say it.
Seward.com/events.
And you have posted a little sign at Safeway behind where we used to get the newspapers.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what's going on, go to seward.com/events, and you can add stuff like choir.
Like the
and
choir,
all sorts
it's
of
on there,
things.
yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for the hypes.
It's a really useful thing.
Thanks for the
Councilmember
hypes.
Wells.
I think I did see that by where the newspaper used to be, and if you could throw in a QR code, that would be awesome.
There's one on there.
Is there one on there?
Yep.
Because I didn't see it.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep, it's on there, quick scan and you're on the page.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
Mayor,
the report.
Madam Mayor.
Our next report is Dana Paperman with the Seward Senior Center.
Hello, my name's Dana Paperman. I live here in Seward, and I'm also the Executive Director of the Seward Senior Center. Kudos to the Chamber. I refer many, many people, usually on a daily basis, to the Chamber website, especially now that we don't have a paper. So, and as a small business nonprofit here in town, we rely on our partnership with the Chamber for marketing purposes. So they're kind of one of our staff members as well, so it's just a great partnership. Good evening, Mayor McClure, council members, City Manager Sorensen. Thank you for inviting me to present today. Visualize alpenglow, beautiful sunsets, because that's my PowerPoint. So if you have to close your eyes, please do so, close your eyes. We have been serving older Alaskans since 1978. Starting with volunteers and a vision to serve our aging population. Last year, we celebrated our 45th anniversary, continually supporting our mission since 1978, which is to ensure honor, dignity, security, and independence for the older Alaskan through support services that assist them in maintaining meaningful and quality lives. The importance of a mission statement is to bring this to your board every month, making sure that we don't have mission drift, that we're not chasing these beautiful feathers out there and these dollars that are falling from the sky. So we continually keep senior citizen-centered conversations of what is the greatest impact for the greatest number of older Alaskans that we can serve in our services. Our 10-year vision is to engage seniors as mentors with a meaningful impact on individuals and our community. Our core purpose is quality of life for the older Alaskans, and our core values are healthy lifestyle, flexible, and adaptable. And again, more visualization, people rustling around, coming into the building, getting ready for fitness class, making coffee, opening up cookies, putting them in the cookie jar, parking their walkers, settling down, and then it gets really loud about 11 o'clock because everybody starts conversations, waiting for lunch to be served. And that's always a wonderful scent of some wonderful, beautiful Italian spread, Mexican spread, fish of the day. So we're very, very fortunate to have a professional chef on staff. And our staff consists of 3 people. Last year, unfortunately, we had to liquidate one of our staff members' positions, so I could afford to continually pay the 2 other staff members a living wage in Seward to keep them here in Seward and keep them at our agency. And we also have 2 subcontractors, Rachel Dow and Mary Ann Benoit, who teach evidence-based health promotion for older Americans. We have more than 40 volunteers that serve on our board, that serve food, that donate food, that package Meals on Wheels, deliver Meals on Wheels, teach art class, lead music, and lead writers group. We are very, very active at our agency. And we know the activity level is really reflective of the volunteer participation 5 days a week. And as I've spoken before, you come into the center and you'll see these activities 5 days a week. It's not just on Friday. It's Monday, we have lunch Monday through Friday from noon to 1, and normally we have fitness classes 5 days a week leading into and coming out of lunch, and we have activities following lunch, because our goal is proper nutrition as we age. It's the cornerstone of good, healthy aging, to have whole foods and good foods. Seniors come to the agency because they feel comfortable there. They don't sense that we're a club or a clique. They know they can come without a penny in their pocket. Our programs are all free will donations because our target audience is elderly and our target audience is low income. So visualize this, living on $1,800 a month in Seward, Alaska. And this is your 50th year living here. You're not going to leave. You're not going to leave your home port. So we assist seniors by providing them free lunches so they can take that money and spend it in their utility bills or prescription. Sometimes those get out of control. Not everybody is eligible for Medicaid. So the components of our nutrition program is our Meals on Wheels, which requires an individual that has to have certain activities of daily living that they need support in. So in nutritional services, we are supporting an individual's ability to have a good nutritious meal 5 days a week. So we're doing the shopping for them, we're doing the cooking for them, and we're doing the cleanup for them. So, and the value of them getting that meal delivered to their door is they also get to visit with a volunteer that is very compassionate and volunteering to do this service for their neighbors and friends. We also serve lunch, as I spoken earlier, noon to 1, Monday through Friday. We also provide a monthly food box, a partnership with the Food Bank of Alaska, and it's a USDA 40 pounds of shelf-stable food, and those are pre-qualifying individuals who make less than $1,800 per month. Our fitness programs cannot be underestimated. At this point, I'd also like to say kudos to Parks and Recreation Department and the programs that they're throwing out there. I was lucky enough to work for the city of Seward 25 years ago in sports and recreation, running that program, and I've experienced full circle at Parks and Rec, being a participant now and seeing such a plethora of programs available to the community. So great work on the leadership. Appreciate that so much. Our fitness programs are geared towards older Alaskans. Many require facilitated classes due to, doctor wants them not to work independently. They want them to work with an instructor. So we teach Staying Active and Independent for Life, an evidence-based program. We teach Tai Chi for arthritis and falls prevention, again, evidence-based program, helping with balance and lowering the chance of falls here in Seward. We also partner with Parkinson's of Northwest, so we Zoom in classes from a physical therapist based in Seattle. She's a partner with Parkinson's, so that's also once a week. And then we also partner with Providence, who provides annually a falls prevention workshop and free ice cleats for older Alaskans. And the multiple programs I spoke of earlier, it's really, really important to think about what are you going to do after you retire. It's a time to start capturing vitality by continuing to learn and taking risks and being able to expand your horizons to continually give back to your community, because you gain so much more free time as you retire from your career, and many, many people do want the opportunity to give back. Our government partners are the Older Americans Act, which are federal dollars to support nutrition, transportation, and support services. They are 47% of our budget. The City of Seward, which is 29% of our budget, which includes $35,000 per year of in-kind of our building. And kudos to the Public Works Department, who keeps our sidewalks clean of snow and safe access to our center during the winter. And so we're really, really grateful for that partnership. We know that we could not stand alone of building a big castle up on the hill with even a better view. We already know we've got the best view in town, but until our numbers are pushing people out the door, we're very, very happy to have this successful collaboration with the City of Seward. Continuing on, the Kenai Peninsula Borough provide 14% of our budget, again supporting our nutrition, transportation, and support services, leading to our annual budget of $391,000 per year, again supporting nutrition, transportation, and support services. What does support services look like? Skipping through my slides. In 2023, we packaged up for 32 homebound older Alaskans, 6,000 hot meals between here and Moose Pass. And again, a volunteer-driven program. We dished up more than 9,000 hot meals in the dining room, serving 55 older Seward and Moose Pass residents. We facilitated and organized daily fitness classes for more than 55 older Alaskans here in Seward. We enrolled 14 older Alaskans in Social Security retirement benefits, 16 elders in Medicare insurance, and provided advocacy services for 20 residents. What does advocacy services look like? This year was very, very drastic in Medicaid service, the SNAP program, which is food stamps. They were running 90 to 120 days behind in that distribution of that Quest card, of that SNAP card. And so I spent many, many hours on the phone with emergency services with Medicaid. We do have a public assistant public fee agent located, Frances Smith, at the clinic, but she was only one person, so I stepped in and did a lot of that hard work as well. And then we also aided 6 older Alaskans in housing security, deterring homelessness here in Seward in 2023. We also, through our food box program, we distributed 22,000 pounds of shelf-stable food on top of our regular CSFP food box program, and those funds were allocated from the state legislature back in January of 2023 because food stamps were running 90 to 120 days late. So we stepped in and brought a solution forward with, again, multiple partners. So sometimes, many times, we become first responders because we're part of continuum of care. Unfortunately, aging comes fast for some of us. Some of us can brag that we're 90 and still doing pull-ups and push-ups, but not everybody gets that fortune. Whether it's genetic, lifestyle, many people require extra community support as they grow older. And that's where the Senior Center comes in. I have a great story to share, and then I'll close the evening with this story. We celebrated our 45th anniversary in September, and my goal was to make sure everybody had a door prize. That was my goal, you know, to all these people that supported the senior center. And Seward Mountain Haven came, and they brought 4 of their residents. Well, I started crying. I got all verklempt, because those 4 residents used to sit at our dining room table. They were volunteers at the senior center. They were in our fitness classes. Over time, they became a Meals on Wheels consumer. A little bit more time passed, and they were admitted to long-term care. So it was beautiful to see that Seward residents can call Seward home their whole life. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Appreciate that. Okay,
Any
and
questions?
our final report, Cindy Eklund, KPB Assembly. A report on just what's happening.
All right. Cindy Eklund, Kenai Peninsula Borough Assembly, District 6, representing you and many listeners out there. And I just want to add, Dana, did you want to mention the fundraiser?
Oh,
Yeah, big, important.
I was going to mention that at the
Yeah.
end too, but that's okay. Now that you're going to do it, I don't want to.
We're having a Alaskan art and beautiful cake auction at Gateway, February 24th.
There will be posters around. You're putting it on seward.com/events, right? Okay, Cindy.
Thank you. These really tall people here. Okay. So, haven't been here for a while. The last couple of meetings at the Kenai Peninsula Borough Assembly, I think we had the shortest one. We were out like at 7:04 at one of them, and like 7:30 at another. So, sorry guys, but we started at 6, so you guys are going to be good. You have a short meeting tonight. So, on January 2nd, the entire Assembly sponsored and adopted a resolution requesting that the state of Alaska make a meaningful and timely increase to the base student allocation for public schools. Since then, the city of Kenai has also adopted a school funding resolution, and other KPB cities are bringing theirs as well. I know Councilmember Barnwell has added a similar resolution to your agenda tonight. Thank you, Bob. And I hope that all citizens support this resolution, because there is a dire need to adequately fund our public schools. Sending a quick, short email to the legislatures, not a form email, just say 3 sentences. Be quick. They have a lot to read, and don't send them, a chapter. Just a short one to the legislature would be great. We need more than the $300 they were going to add. Also, on January 2nd, an ordinance was introduced and then enacted on the 16th that appropriated $150,000 from the Seward Bear Creek Flood Service Area Fund balance for maintenance on the Salmon Creek revetment site. That's the one that had the flood last year. On an annual basis, the Seward Bear Creek Flood Service Area executes a number of maintenance and improvement projects to fulfill its mission. In 2018, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers finished a 1,750-foot long, 10-foot tall riprap revetment up on Kenai Peninsula Borough land, up on the Kvichak, farther up at the base of some pretty steep terrain. Since its completion, there's been no sediment removal from that site. So that averaged an 8-foot above design load that caused that flooding last year. So this leaves the Army Corps of Engineer project in the Bear Lake subdivision and surrounding areas vulnerable to damage from the next large weather event. The proposed $150,000 would be a vital part in restoring this Army Corps of Engineers site to design and fulfilling the borough's agreement to maintain the project after the project was completed. Last Tuesday, an ordinance was introduced appropriating $350,000 from the school maintenance fund for snow removal and sanding. The public hearing to enact that is on February 6th. There's been a lot of snow this year, as we know, and across the peninsula. They had, after the first 2 months of the snow season, they'd already received 54% of the used 54% of the snow removal budget. So the maintenance department is seeking this funding from the fund balance to be ready for the next big event, and it will not impact the school year's funding school balance or for the school district. An ordinance accepting and appropriating opioid settlement funds for the opioid settlement fund grant program was introduced last Tuesday. In 2021, the state of Alaska and 9 political subdivisions within the state, including the borough, agreed to and entered into 2 nationwide settlement agreements related to the opioid endemic, referred to as the Janssen J&J settlement and the distributor settlement. This ordinance established a program to administer and distribute funds received from companies that lost in court. It's being requested that, this ordinance is requesting that they are appropriated, and the total amount for this calendar year will be $115,250 plus change. So these distributions including the amount available from 2023 will fund future grant agreements, and it is anticipated that the next grant application period will be opened in February this year. And when I get information like this, I forward it on to Seaview Community Services so they are aware that they'll have those grant opportunities available to them. There is a pending KPB legislation, which if you look at the KPB agenda, you'll see at the bottom there's this resolution that I sponsored, and it is an intent by the Kenai Peninsula Borough Assembly to establishing and that financing of energy and resilience improvement projects through assessment serves a valid public purpose in related matters. I introduced it in January of last year, and it got tabled, and then I brought it back up in September, and it got postponed until October, and then it got tabled again in October, and here's the reason why. The Assembly was concerned that it would be too much work, but this program is already in place in Anchorage and has 2 projects that one's completed, one is online, and Mat-Su Borough has adopted the program as well. 38 states have adopted this program, and it has been amended. It was adopted by Alaska in 2017, and it was amended 2 years ago to include now not just commercial and industrial properties, but nonprofit and multifamily properties as well. The measures that are eligible for this funding, it's called CPACER, meaning Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy and Resilience. And the things that can be funded are high efficiency lighting, boilers, furnaces, and hot water heating, solar energy, fire hardening and resistance, water conservation, snow load management, combined heat and power, building energy management systems, building shell or envelope improvements, and seismic improvements. Funding for the 2 CPACER projects in Anchorage were funded through Northrim Bank. The loan payments are made to the bank through the property tax payments. To make funds more available, the 2023 legislative session bills were brought forward to fund a green bank. A green bank provides financial resources for the proliferation of renewable energy technologies. Right now, there are funds available from the Inflation Reduction Act that can be filtered through a green bank to help finance renewable energy projects in Alaska. These bills are House Bill 154 and Senate Bill 125. They would set up a nonprofit green bank through the Alaska Housing Finance Corporation. Both bills were referred to Finance Committee last session. And I am going to hand out a CPACER pamphlet from Anchorage, just to keep this in your mind, to you, and I have some more if anyone in the public wants one. And I would ask for your support to bring this forward. I know that there's some properties in Seward that are interested, and on a quarterly basis, they ask, is anything happening. And I've talked to Kellyanne about it quite a bit, and I talked to Kat when she was at the chamber about it. So it just got to keep it in the forefront. And the last thing I want to do is end up with a high school basketball report. Our varsity boys have an 8-win, 2-loss record, and our varsity girls have a 9-win, 2-loss record. There are home games this Friday that start at 3 p.m. All 4 teams will be playing. And there's a Seahawk Classic Tournament February 1st through the 3rd. There may be somebody who's played in that on the council. Were you playing basketball, John? No. All right. Chris, no. Anyway, my daughter coaches. My 2 daughters coach against each other, so it's always interesting. But there will be 2 fundraisers on Friday and Saturday of that. One is for the Booster Club, who pays for transportation and uniforms and bought that van that they're using now to get around. And the other one is for the high school, and it's art and cakes and crafts. So hope to see you all there, and they're looking for volunteers to help as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, those are all the reports. We got them all tonight. Are we okay to move on with what's left? Okay. What we have left is 2 items in new business. The first item is the non-objection to the renewal of the marijuana license for Tufted Puffin LLC Retail Marijuana Store, number 17758. There's information on page 111. And I have to ask the clerk, do we need a motion and a second to begin this? Is this how this works? With items like this, I meant to ask earlier.
Yeah, that's a great question. I was just going to use the standard motion and a second format.
Okay. We would do this first then. I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve this.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. And did you have something to say, Mr. White?
Yes, Mayor. I believe I have a conflict of interest due to the fact that I possibly could receive more than $5,000 in revenue in a 24-month period if this passes.
That was going to be my question, and you answered yes. So yes, you do have a conflict of interest. And we had discussed this, and you may remain here at the dais if you'd like, but you can't interact on this subject. Or you could go out there. It's your choice.
Stay here.
Okay. Okay, so the information's there. Administration, what do you have to say about this?
I can speak to this actually, since it originated from the clerk's office.
Yes, I'm sorry, the clerk. Okay.
So for both of these items, it's actually a license issued by the state. It's the AMCO, Alcohol and Marijuana Control Office. So it's not like it's the city who's issuing this license. I just wanted to make that clear. AMCO sends the clerk's office the documents regarding the license, and then it goes through our compliance checklist. It starts with the utility counter, it goes on to the leases department, and then the police chief and the fire chief do their own compliance checks, and then it is returned to the clerk's office. And it's basically an opportunity to object, and if there's an objection, this would be the first step in a protest, basically, to the state. But if there's no objection, then the state continues with issuing the license.
Okay, is that clear? Are there questions about this one? This is for the Tufted Puffin downtown, the store.
Grace Williams.
And the phones are ringing. Okay, are we ready to vote on this? The vote, a yes vote would be not, a yes vote is a non-objection to the renewal of the license. Clear? It's clear. Okay, guess we're ready.
Okay, so voting on the approval of the marijuana license for the Tufted Puffin LLC retail marijuana store. Osenga?
Yes.
Calhoun?
Yes.
Barnwell?
Yes.
Kreitz?
Yes.
And Mayor McClure?
Yes.
Okay, there is no objection there.
Okay, and then the last item is item number 2 under new business, non-objection to the new application for on-site consumption endorsement for the Tufted Puffin LLC retail marijuana store number 36580. And I would ask for a motion to approve and a second.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and I will ask the clerk, we have a laydown that shows the compliance, but first, Mr. Wells.
Yes, I need to recuse myself from this vote. I believe I have a conflict of interest because of possibility of generating over $5,000 over the next calendar year.
Okay, and I rule you do have a conflict. So, once again, you may stay here and not interact, or you may go out there. It's your choice.
I'll stay here, thank you.
Okay. Now, Mr. Clerk, what you got on that? I can't find my laydown. I'll just look at yours. There is a laydown that includes the compliance.
So these endorsements are a new thing as of 2024 that AMCO is doing. One other example could be like a liquor store could get an endorsement for like mix and matching a custom six-pack of beer. So these endorsements are like in addition to the license.
Thank you.
But it follows the same process. AMCO sends the clerk's office the paperwork, and then it makes its rounds through the 4 city departments for the compliance checks, and then comes back to council for the opportunity to object.
Okay. And looking at this, all of the departments said they were compliant and agreed.
That is correct.
Comments, questions from council on this? Councilmember Calhoun?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have objections to this. I guess my question, since I think this is the first one of these that has come through here, obviously the state, myself having to deal with liquor licenses, I understand the process. So the state has looked at the proper paperwork and all the compliance and all that for this to come to us at this point. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, yes.
Yes, that's
okay. And I guess a question, and I don't have anybody to ask, but maybe I can get an answer on this. There was a comment that was made, something about, this is for on-site consumption, but I heard the verbiage used for open air earlier, and is there a way to know, is this going to be consumption allowed outside of that facility, or is it just consumption inside the facility? Do we know that?
Could an applicant speak to that at the citizen comment table?
Yeah, I was
Yes.
wondering,
Is
that okay?
Yeah, that would be one of the reasons for someone in this position to be out there, because then we could suspend the rules and ask him questions. And this has happened before. It's not, this isn't unique. We've had, okay, so you may, are we in agreement to suspend the rules to be able to ask?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and ask your question again.
My question is consumption, on-site consumption. I know the facility that we're talking about, is the consumption going to be allowed outside of the building?
Thank you, Mr. Kellum. So the state has 2 types of consumption. Either it's indoors of a facility or outdoors of a facility. And those 2 types of consumption can consist of edibles or flour being ingested via smoke or vaporizers. The state is very, very strict on the amount that can be consumed, whether it's edible or flour. It's a very minimal amount. And if the cannabis flower is consumed indoors, there is a ventilation requirement. If it's consumed outdoors, there is not a ventilation requirement. However, when an applicant applies for an on-site consumption license, the very first thing their attorney does is they have to mail a letter to every property that is within 250 feet. And every building that has an air intake within 250 feet is given about 6 to 7 months to write an objection to the state. And then if there's an issue, then the state says, if it's more than 250 feet, we don't believe that there is a aroma issue. And so does that, and so this particular On-site consumption is for edibles indoors, and there will be built an outdoor on-site consumption area that was approved by the state.
Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are there other questions for, yeah, go ahead.
I was
Councilmember
just
Barnwell.
wondering if you're going to have a drive-through component on this on the premises.
Thank you, Councilmember Barnwell. The state did legalize cannabis drive-throughs in 2022. The first ones opened in 2023, and the Port Avenue property was approved for a drive-through. There will not be a drive-through in the summertime because there will be a food court in that area, but the food court will be gone in the wintertime, and there will be a drive-through in the wintertime.
Other questions? Councilmember Barnwell.
Sorry, it's just interesting. The open air consumption area, what kind of ventilation or fans or how do you disperse, or is it such a small quantity that's literally, if someone was walking down the sidewalk outside of your premises, could they detect an odor? How does that work?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Barnwell. So there are strict, like I said, strict state guidelines for whether it's indoor or outdoor on-site consumption, and there is no ventilation requirement for outdoor on-site consumption via the state.
Okay, let me get Councilmember Kreitz first, please.
I guess just to address like children walking by or anybody coming by, do they have a requirement as far as like privacy of this consumption area?
Thank you, Councilmember Kreitz. Yes, one of the requirements by the state is that there is a minimum 8-foot fence or blocking, so nobody from outside the on-site consumption area is able to see inside and be able to see what's happening. Just like with the dispensaries, the retail inside, a passerby is not allowed to be able to see actual marijuana products, right? So, yes.
Councilmember Calhoun, you have...
My question.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Other questions from up here? Yes?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnwell, I couldn't see if that was her hand raised.
On the issue of, well, when we have a test for drunken driving, can you address that for consumption of marijuana? Do we have how do the police ascertain overconsumption or over the legal limit? Is there a pretty good system these days, or how's that being?
Thank you, Councilmember Barnwell. As far as testing for cannabis use, because cannabinoids, including THC, Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 7, and all the other cannabinoids in the plant, attach to your fat cells in your body, which then are attached to your urinary tract system. If you consume cannabis today, there's a chance for the next 30 days that it would show up in a urinalysis or a blood test. The federal government is currently looking at mouth swab test kits, and some states such as California, Oregon, and Washington have already implemented the mouth swab test. And the mouth swab test can tell if you have consumed flower, if you've smoked in a certain amount of time. One thing I want to state though is the amount that can be consumed on site. So the big difference between the cannabis lounge and a bar is there technically is no legal amount, no legal cutoff. So if I walk into a bar, the bar can serve me until they don't want to serve me anymore, right? Until they cut me off, if you will. But with on-site consumption for marijuana, the maximum you can purchase and consume on-site in one day is 1 gram of flour. That's one pre-roll a day. If we are also in the process of opening a cannabis lounge in Soldotna right now, and so let's say you purchase 1 joint in Seward at this lounge, and you consume it, and you leave, and you drive all the way to Soldotna, and you show your ID at the Soldotna store, you won't be allowed to go in and onto the on-site consumption. So the state is extremely strict on the amount that can be consumed on-site. As far as our local police department, that would be a chief question.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Councilmember? Okay, thank you very much, Randy. You might as well just sit out there.
Yes, ma'am.
It's more comfortable, probably. Any other questions that council has before we vote? Ready to vote? Okay, so a yes vote would mean non-objection to this.
Correct. We'll be voting on the approval of the on-site consumption endorsement. Well, oh, sorry, Wells is not voting. Price?
Yes.
Barnwell?
Yes.
Calhoun?
Yes.
Osenga?
Yes.
And Mayor McClure?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no objection from council for the on-site consumption endorsement.
Okay, thank you. Now you can come back. We're down to citizen comments, and this is this went quickly. This is the time where you get 5 minutes if you choose, except somebody let him in. Sorry about that. You get 5 minutes, there's no sign-in for this. You can speak on anything, and it's the usual, you need to give, once again, if you've spoken before, your name, and if you're inside or outside the city limits. So, is there anyone that wants to speak? Hands, or, yeah, come on up. And you have to say again who you are. This is for the record more than anything.
Nate Smith, outside city limits. I'm just going to refute some of the stuff he said. Everybody takes taps. I mean, Mike Calhoun takes taps. He knows exactly how much he can serve somebody and what he can do. Under the current law, from what I even discussed with him, any amount of consumption and walking right out of there and hopping in your car is illegal. Plain and simple. So he doesn't even have the way to test it properly and to do the functions of what he did. You know, what he's saying. He quoted California, Washington. He didn't quote Seward here. So we have a multifaceted problem here. We just okayed something that we're not prepared to do. And not one of you called him up and asked him, is he prepared to hand DUIs to people that did on-site consumption? That should concern everybody. There's a reason why you can work at Costco, but you can't drive a forklift if you've been using marijuana. There's a reason why I get drug tested driving boats in the harbor. You know, insurance shows that. There are those trends. Now we're just letting them do it without having proper things in place. And I think that a little bit of time, even in this pamphlet it says here, we had till the 31st. We could have put it off, tabled it, had a meeting, done something. But just because we went to the state and got an application, we have no idea where he's going to put it. Smoke doesn't just miraculously fly off. It can fly 88 feet to where people are getting off the train. 88 feet. That's not good, guys. I just thought maybe we would have a little more time because none of us had any time to oppose this. Because we didn't know it. Not to mention, he sat here and stated 6 or 7 months. I found out from El Zernia, who owns the Siren, and she only got a notice like 3 weeks ago. She's the business and direct contact of it. She's down in Las Vegas right now screaming at me going, you need to go down there and talk to them. There are people that have that. What did the train say? With everybody coming around, that's 88 feet, guys. I can sit here on my Onyx, so I don't buy it. Sorry, thanks.
Okay, anyone else wishing to speak? Dana?
Dana Paperman, City of Seward. I just wanted to speak in support of Bob's resolution on funding our schools. Our schools have been failing miserably. My husband and I had a conversation before we got married. The only reason we would leave Seward is that the schools failed our children. But we love Seward. We're invested in Seward. We're invested in our community and our jobs and our children's education. So we spend hundreds of dollars in outside programs for our children to succeed in the public school. This is just a guess, but if we went to homeschool, we would lose probably 30% of our employers in our community because they would have to go home and educate their children. My husband and I are fortunate to be able to spend hundreds of dollars on our children's education outside of the public system. But public education is fair share for our nation. Public education provides more successful adults, industries, businesses, families. We can pay it out front, or we can pay it at Spring Creek. Let's do the right thing. Thank you.
Anyone else?
So, I don't know if I have to introduce myself again, but just before I leave here, I guess I'm a little, when I think of 250 feet circumference of where this Tufted Puffin is going to be having some pot smoking, we have city property around it. I'm just curious, did the city get noticed months ago that this was going to come up? And have we heard from the railroad? We heard from other places. This is just odd to me. So people walk by there a lot. It's going to be wafting across to the hotel around. So I don't know. I hope that you're right about the ventilation systems. I hope that you have a good investment in that. And as far as the open air thing, I don't think that that the odor is going to be. It's not going to be non-noticeable. So anyway, sad, but I wish we had a little more time to discuss this. But anyway, we could talk to the state, I guess, when he proposes that. But there's just a lot of things that should have been considered. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, brings us to council and administration comments and responses to citizen comments. Madam City Manager.
Thank you for a great meeting. Yeah, no further comment. I appreciate it. Oh, one thing. I will be attending a Governmental Finance Officer Association training the first week of February. It's a city manager budget analyst training, so I'm really excited about that training opportunity. So I will be unavailable from the 5th to the 8th, but we have a really great acting city manager to my right. So other than that, I'll see you guys in 3 weeks, probably sooner. But
Okay. Mr. Bickling.
No comments, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to start with Councilmember Barnwell. Comments.
Okay. Just want to start with saying thank you for City Manager, Assistant City Manager. It was great reports this evening. Exciting to see the fire department and the police department. That was the first thing when I onboarded. I was just appalled at the buildings and the status of those, and just really exciting to see us move forward on this on a tangible level. Thanks for all your work. Thanks for the chamber for coming out. That was a great report, and there's just a lot of exciting things going on in this city, and a lot of young energy, and I just think it's really interesting. Senior Center, the awesome report also. I just really appreciate that. I didn't know, I had no idea how much food you delivered. It was just a crazy amount. Thanks for all the work, Dana. As far as the people turning out for the BSA increase, I really appreciate all the teachers that worked their tails off. Ms. Paperman said it perfectly. We are desperate for more money in the system. We have to all stand up and fight this one. I spent 30 years teaching, and some of the proposals coming out of the Juneau right now are appalling, in my opinion. Kids need to be together. They need to be in quality schools with quality teachers that are professionally trained, and we need to figure out a way to pay for that. So thanks for City of Seward for recognizing and turning out in support of that.
Okay, Councilmember Kreitz.
I did want to ask, when the clerk gave his report, when the application process for the Obahiro for the high school students, do you know when the dates are for that application process?
That's a great question. We're creating the application packet right now. Jody's been working on that, and it's been going through some revisions, so we'll unveil that as soon as it's ready. But yeah, we're getting excited about it for sure.
Thank you. And then I wanted to thank all three of you for the presentations this evening. They were great. I did want to especially say thank you, Dana, at the Senior Center. I've had opportunity to actually be there and do some care through the health center when I was working there, and it was good to know that you're helping people with Medicare and Medicaid applications. I know just myself in general, that's a difficult process for me, even me to understand, more or less someone who's elderly, and I appreciate that assistance that you're giving them.
Okay, Councilmember Wells.
Thank you for all the presenters today and citizens' comments. Have a great week.
Councilmember Calhoun.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, great presentations. Appreciate all of the community input. We don't always agree on everything, but we are one good community, and I look forward to some more information coming as we get closer to this second year of our budget and some of the things we need to do there. And work session coming on the motor pool fund at some point. Yeah, that would be good. And that's all. Just everybody be safe out there and enjoy. And you won't be able to see my Packers in the Super Bowl this year, but go Detroit.
Vice Mayor Osenga.
Yeah, and I'm just going to repeat what everyone else has said. Thank you for the presentations. I appreciate the information coming from the Chamber and the Senior Center. I appreciate all the work that you guys do. Thanks to administration for all of this things that you've come up with for us tonight, and all the information that you got put together for us. It was very good. Thank you. And again, the comments from the community, thank you for all that. I'm going to be a little make some mistakes here, but at the community band, we do have a concert coming up in February. I'm going to mention
the 6th. Well, you know
the 6th. Okay. Well, I was hesitant on the date because I never remember that. But anyways, okay, so it's the 6th. It's going to be at the high school. 7 o'clock, I believe. So
there's posters around.
I haven't seen the posters yet. So I did need to mention that, and otherwise Kim's going to kill me. And the Packers, I'm so disappointed. It's so sad to watch them lose. But thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
Okay, I'll well, at least you got it for me. I'll get the last word. Councilmember Calhoun.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm sorry, I apologize. But, you know, I'm going to make a push again. You guys know that there are 2 open seats on the Planning and Zoning Commission. They have been open for 3 or 4 months. They need 4 to have a quorum to help move things forward in the community. There are 2 seats that are expiring in February. Don't know whether the sitting commissioners are going to reapply for those or not. But just keep that in mind. That is one of probably the most important board or commission that we have, not to slight the other ones, but they actually push stuff forward to make things happen in town. So if you live inside the city limits and you have an interest in where the community is headed, please consider applying for one of those open seats on the Planning and Zoning Commission. And just for future planning, there are also a couple of seats that are coming up for election in October on the City Council also.
Are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
I always point out at this juncture that that's how I began. My meteoric rise to fame was planning and zoning, so, you know, I can get you started. Wow, yeah, I had so many things I was going to say, but they've pretty much all been said. Regarding the resolution for the BSA increase, we probably would have done it a meeting earlier, but the notice that Cindy Eklund sent me, an email, I don't know how it timed out, but the borough did it, but my email got lost in our spam filters, so we didn't get acting on this. But I did co-sponsor that, by the way, but I appreciate Councilmember Barnwell doing the work. And, of course, schools are important to me, an ex-teacher too. And I've spent hours at the senior center with my mom for years, you know, and I do things there. I very much support the senior center. I want to reiterate, without a newspaper, we need to get the word out about events. And so go to seward.com/events. It worked perfectly to get things on there. And then go look at it and you can find stuff out. I've been asked to be on several little task force committee things, and one of them that's really neat, and Samantha was on it with me, it's an education, I don't know if we're called a task force or what, Mr. Bickling's on it too, but the Borough School District Superintendent called it and his assistant, and so we met to discuss what's to do with Seward schools, and it's a diverse group of people, and there's dialogue, and we'll meet every so often, and trying to keep, I believe, in the forefront of the minds of the school district that we have schools and we're important, and I think that's very important to show the support for the schools in all the ways we can. It's just huge. I also wanted to say, watch out for moose. I've had a moose living in my yard for the past couple days, and I really like that moose, and you know, but they jump into the road. So I'm driving back from playing the piano at Mountain Haven today, and there's two people walking up, whatever that, is it Ash? The one that goes up. Anyway, they're walking along, and here comes a moose right at them, and they're like terrified, so I was getting ready to put my car between them and the moose, but the moose was just trying to cross the road, you know, but there's moose that'll just jump over the berm at you, you know, so keep your eyes open when you're walking. They're all friendly moose, they're nice moose, but they're really big, really, really big. So, and it's not good to hit a moose, I've done it, it's not a pleasant thing. So keep your eyes open because they are dark and it is dark, and even in the daytime they jump out. So that came to mind today. Well, I was thinking I was going to be scraping people off the street. So, on that cheery note, I will adjourn the meeting at 8:31.